Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million online rendezvous. This is Sramana Mitra, founder and CEO of 1M by 1M, the first and only global virtual accelerator for technology startups in the world. I'm coming to you live from Silicon Valley, California. I wish you greetings in whichever part of the world you are, and I will spend some time answering questions in this session that we have collected from our various different touch points. If you're looking for help with your particular project, and if you want feedback, you want to brainstorm your strategy with me, we have safe working sessions, mentoring sessions every week on WebEx. These are held on Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Every Thursday we have a session throughout the fall. So this week there's one. We just completed our 500th free online mentoring roundtable last Thursday. Over 150,000 people have been part of these. So we're very proud of working with you shoulder to shoulder for all these years and all these sessions. And we've learned a lot. Hopefully you've learned a lot. And it's been a real pleasure and a real honor to be with you through this very, very difficult journey for so long. You know, we are in a very, very difficult period of history. One of the toughest times in the last 100 years that humanity has encountered. So if you are feeling down and low and you're feeling depressed or just sad, all those are natural emotions of these times. Let's talk a little bit about timeline. When the pandemic began, I used to spend some time at these sessions trying to understand what kind of a timeline do we need to look at. Now we have been in this, constrained state, working from home. Thankfully, we can work from home. With lots of constraints, lots of restrictions, not being able to fly, etc., for over 6 months. So we have kind of gotten used to, the technology industry in particular has been very fortunate to be able to work more or less seamlessly from home. But sentiments, the sentiments around the world in all quarters have changed. The sentiments are not as positive, sentiments are, anxious, scared, etc. So the notion of risk has completely changed in people's minds. So timeline is something that we need to look at again. 6 months into this pandemic, how much longer is this going to take us? Well, if you listen to experts like Anthony Fauci, he thinks that it will take at least until the end of 2021 to get the vaccine out and also a significant chunk of the population vaccinated. Yesterday, I was reading an interview by the CEO of one of the largest vaccine manufacturer in the world. It's an Indian company. And he says to get enough vaccines to vaccinate the entire population of the world is going to take until 2024 end. So we are in a marathon period of uncertainty, and things will get better. Of course, things will get better next year, hopefully. Things will get better in 2022, but the economy is going to have some degree of slowness, most likely, for the next 4 or 5 years. So we are going to have to work through all this for an extended period of time. So I would say controlling our mind, getting control over our mind, getting control over our mental health is incredibly important. The only way we will be able to continue being productive, continue maintaining positivity, and be able to do those meaningful things that are, putting one foot before the other so that we can continue our entrepreneurial journey, continue our lives in a meaningful way. I would say for mind control, meditation is a highly tried and true proven way of controlling anxiety, controlling suffering. So whether you want to practice the Zen meditation techniques or you want to practice the Vipassana meditation techniques, all of that is fine. Insight meditation, Vipassana meditation, breath control, watching your breath, watching your thoughts. There's a whole big body of literature. There are apps that can guide you through meditation. There are many ways that you can learn how to get control of your mind. Super important to get control of your mind at this point. I also want to give you a very entrepreneur-specific meditation practice. And I suggest you do this kind of every day for an hour. And I'm not saying you do it for 20 minutes. I'm saying do it for an hour, because the amount of positive energy that will go into your brain if you do this practice for 1 hour every day, I believe is immense. So here goes. Go to the 1M by 1M website. Go to the blog, and then go to the left navigation button, left navigation panel, where you'll find the button Entrepreneur Journeys. This is our case study series available for free. And I would like you to do maybe 4 or 5 case studies per day. Just read them. Don't have to do anything. Just read 4 or 5 case studies a day. These are like little short stories of how one entrepreneur traveled his or her entrepreneur journey. So, if you do it regularly for several months, let's say you do it regularly for 6 months, come back and tell me what that does to your brain and what that does to your psychology. Does that make you feel good? Does that make you feel that you can do it? You can travel the length of the journey even when, things are really difficult, things are really challenging. I believe you can. I believe you will learn a lot. I believe you will be able to develop this as a meditation practice that will ultimately help you tremendously. Okay, so again, if you're looking for brainstorming around your project and my input, my strategy input for your project, come to one of the free mentoring roundtables. If you're on our blog right now, go to the free mentoring roundtables section, and you will see the schedule. You'll see the registration links. Go in there and register. If you want to talk to me, register to pitch, and I will brainstorm with you, and I will give you feedback and pointers and guidance on how to navigate your journey. All right, I'm going to go to Q&A. The first question is, what questions should entrepreneurs ask their mentors? The question is really important because these days everyone seems to be a startup mentor. Whether they've ever done a startup or not, whether they have ever raised money or not, they're ready to advise entrepreneurs. I'm just amazed at how much garbage I see on LinkedIn. I'm a startup mentor. What is my accomplishment? I've only worked as a manager at Wipro for 3 years and I'm a startup mentor. Give me a break, okay? This is not the kind of people you want as your startup mentors. This is absolute rubbish. They're going to give you a bunch of cliches, and this is not the kind of mentor you want in your life. Because bad mentoring is going to land you in places that you don't want to be. I want to share with you some things we have learned in running the 1 million by 1 million program for 10 plus years. But first, some background and metrics. We have hosted almost 500 free online mentoring roundtables. Actually, just about 500. We started experimenting with this format of mentoring way back in the fall of 2008. At the time, 1 million by 1 million did not exist, not even in our heads. It wasn't until my January 2010 New Year resolution that the concept was born. And this resolution was written on a whim almost, without any idea how we were going to do 1 million by 1 million. The 1M by 1M Premium program was launched at the end of 2010. It took us about 1 year to figure out how to do what we were hoping to do, help entrepreneurs at scale. Over 150,000 people have participated at our free roundtables. At least 2,500 have pitched. We are serving a community of well over 500,000 on a regular basis. Millions of people have come to the website over the years. The website has been around for 15 years, and these days, when I'm doing entrepreneur journeys interviews, I often get entrepreneurs who've been following the blog for 5 years, 10 years, 13 years, and they have built companies based on those learnings, $5 million companies, $10 million companies, and that's really gratifying for me. I've never mentored them in person, but they have learned just by studying these case studies, and that's phenomenal. By the way, my voice is struggling. We've had so much smoke here in California because of the wildfires. It's the air quality has been terrible. Even inside the house, the air quality is absolutely terrible. So as I'm speaking a lot, my voice is cracking. So apologies for that. Anyway, all our roundtable recordings are made publicly available at our YouTube channel. So please go to the YouTube channel. You'll find every single recording over there. Also great learning material. We use the same format in our private roundtables for the premium members, although these recordings are not available except to the members. We've done private sessions every week for at least 10 plus years. We have been able to develop and enrich a curriculum that entrepreneurs use in web self-service mode over the last 10 plus years. These curriculums increasingly are able to address questions from the entrepreneurs without the need for interactive sessions. As such, when we do get into interactive discussions, they are on more sophisticated issues. The basics can be handled by the curriculum. Obviously, the feedback is good, great actually, or else we wouldn't be able to continue with such a consistent long-running effort. So, I feel that it may be useful for entrepreneurs, investors, incubators, advisors, mentors, and other players in the ecosystem to learn some of the highlights of what we have learned. First, it is extremely difficult to give negative feedback to entrepreneurs without triggering a defensive reaction. I was not good at this when we started. I'm very good at analyzing a business scenario, but I was never good at sugarcoating the feedback in a way that is particularly nurturing or reassuring. Very early on in our experiments with online mentoring, we told entrepreneurs that this forum is for candid, constructive feedback. And that may include negative feedback. We don't tell entrepreneurs what they want to hear. We tell them what they need to hear. While some egos get bruised, entrepreneurs have more or less accepted our approach and have given us permission to critique their ventures. I have personally gotten better at giving feedback in a palatable way. The biggest thing that has worked well is that we never, ever give negative input gratuitously. We're not trying to entertain, we're not trying to provoke, we're trying to help people learn. Everything has been in the spirit of helping both the entrepreneurs and the businesses grow. Nonetheless, if through this process I have offended you, hurt your feelings, let me take this opportunity to apologize. It was not my intent. Second, our hypothesis about case study-based learning and mentoring is working really well. Both at the public roundtables and at private roundtables, entrepreneurs learn not only from pitching, but also from listening to the pitches and interactive discussions with other entrepreneurs. In addition, we have the entire curriculum backed up with case studies, so entrepreneurs are not only getting a piece of input, but seeing that strategy exercised by an entrepreneur who has leveraged it well. Today, we are seeing entrepreneurs making good, solid decisions based on what they're learning from the curriculum and the roundtables without even speaking with anyone. And that's extremely cool and extremely scalable. Third, it is a complex exercise to give people a message that goes against the grain of media hype. The entire entrepreneurship and technology media goes wild with deals like WhatsApp that is entirely speculative. It's a great deal for Facebook. Facebook's acquisition of WhatsApp is a fantastic deal. It has worked out very well, but it takes a lot of venture capital to build companies like that with no revenue, and it's very low probability that people will acquire such companies. Entrepreneurs think that they can raise millions and get acquired for billions without a business model. We don't believe that. Our methodology is a bootstrapped, capital-efficient startup methodology that puts a great deal of emphasis on business model and monetization. Speculative stuff is neither what we believe in nor something we encourage entrepreneurs to pursue. As such, we are unable to get through to folks with that speculative mindset. If you're doing a SaaS company, for example, people are going to look for definitive MRR, ARR figures. To even raise pre-seed money, you're going to need to show $15,000 MRR for a few months. There are all kinds of other financing, alternative financings that we have, brought together in our fold. All of that requires $15,000 MRR. If you're looking to raise a reasonable amount of financing, $1 million to $3 million, that gets you to the next level, you're going to need to show $1 million ARR, which is about 80, 90,000 MRR. So it's, you have to basically work through the early stages of venture building to get to those numbers. Fourth, a lot of entrepreneurs are looking for silver bullets. They're not necessarily interested in doing the hard work needed to build a sustainable business. Building a business is a marathon, not a sprint. We don't have silver bullets. No one does. As I often say, 1M by 1M is like a gym membership. To lose weight, you're going to have to use the machines and do the exercises. Otherwise, nothing consequential is going to happen. 1M by 1M is exactly like that. We do well with entrepreneurs who are willing to put in the work and are realistic about what the outcomes can be. Fifth, some entrepreneurs are over-anxious about confidentiality. Nothing ever gets done because they're so busy being stealth and protecting their ideas. Well, if you really have a great idea that sufficiently challenges the status quo, it will most likely get rejected and ignored, not stolen. And if your idea is very easy to steal, then you cannot defend yourself because sooner or later you need to be in the market. Idea is necessary, but not sufficient. Strategy and execution are really what drives success. Sixth, entrepreneurs are obsessed with financing. The media hypes up financing. It is an unwelcome message to deliver to an entrepreneur dreaming of millions of investment money that her project is not fundable. Some not fundable yet. Some not fundable ever. Many entrepreneurs tune out if you tell them so. We do regardless, but we also tell them that they can still build the business, and either they will have to bootstrap for a while or forever, and then we teach them how. Seventh, positioning is a poorly understood discipline. Most entrepreneurs do a poor job. It is one of the key areas where we add value. This is also one of my greatest strengths, so it's been a natural. The difference between product market fit and no product market fit often is good positioning. And that means also potentially good pivots. Learn from the market, pivot, adjust your messaging, adjust your segmentation, adjust, and then find the product market fit, find the segment that is willing to buy. Very tricky exercise, very tricky skill set, but it is what it is. 8, except for a few geographies, most other seed capital ecosystems are still weak. There are emerging hotspots. In the last decade, a lot more ecosystems have emerged as significantly more mature than they used to be. Nothing is at the level of Silicon Valley, but many have matured. So New York City, Boston, Austin, Seattle, Bangalore, London. There are good ecosystems now. But let's say you're in Bozeman, Montana. There is no mature seed capital ecosystem there. The one thing that is going on right now is enormous amounts of remote work. So yes, investors are willing to invest in companies that are doing remote work from places that they would otherwise normally not consider. Now they are considering, which is a good news. For globalization of entrepreneurship, this is good news. Point number 9, personally, I find it disheartening to see entrepreneurs give up, but they do, even good ones do. I'm still learning to take that in stride and continue to believe that entrepreneurial energy is like air, water, and other essential elements. We need to reduce infant entrepreneur mortality. On the flip side, some people just don't have what it takes. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. This is also a core reality. And there's no going around it. Not everybody can travel the distance. I mean, right now, in this last 6 months of COVID, it's becoming very clear that this is an incredibly, incredibly difficult journey. And a lot of people are putting their entrepreneurial dreams on hold and going and getting jobs. And that's okay. And in this context, I'm going to point you to one other important thing that you should know about, especially about these times when you do need to pay the bills. Bills are not going away. But at the same time, perhaps you are too early in your cycle, you don't have product market fit, revenues are not coming in, you're going to perhaps go get a job so that you can pay your bills using your salary, your income. And you can continue to do your entrepreneurial venture nights and weekends. Bootstrapping with a paycheck is a tried and true principle of bootstrapping, and we have nothing at all against it. We are very pragmatic on what we recommend. And one of the things that I say all the time is you have to survive before you can succeed. If you go out of business, you will not succeed, obviously. You will die. So whatever it takes to survive, especially in existential times like these, is perfectly fine. And survival is a perfectly respectable goal. Maybe you started with lofty goals of world domination and you feel bad that right now your sole goal is survival. Well, this is the reality. There are hundreds of millions of people in the world at the moment facing this existential moment, trying to survive. It is the most dignified thing to do, is to survive and to get to first base so that you can preserve yourself, preserve your family, preserve your loved ones, and then hopefully also preserve your business, because small businesses in particular, are facing an incredible existential moment. Some sectors are just taking it in the chin. Hotels, restaurants, nail salons, hair salons. There are a lot of people who are taking it in the chin. And I just feel immense empathy and immense sadness for some of these people. And I've tried to write, startup ideas posts to help some of these segments. I've written business ideas, startup ideas for the post-COVID world to help restaurants. I've written ideas to help hotels. If you're looking for, COVID-induced startup ideas, this is something that you may want to take a look at. On the blog, it's available. If you just do a search on startup ideas post-COVID, you will find them all there. Finally, my last point on mentoring. At the end of the day, I believe intellectual honesty matters. I also observe that the ecosystem, the startup ecosystem, the technology startup ecosystem is inherently dishonest. And mentors, advisors, incubators, media all promise entrepreneurs things that cannot be delivered. We have tried to make 1M by 1M a pragmatic, realistic, intellectually honest community, a place where primarily entrepreneurs can learn. We do not promise the moon, but sometimes we encounter entrepreneurs who join the program with expectations that cannot be met. To them, our sincere apologies. Since we do not have a screening process, we let everybody in. You are welcome to 1 million by 1 million. You're most welcome to 1 million by 1 million. Equal opportunity, however, doesn't mean equal outcome. We cannot promise, we cannot guarantee the outcome. That depends on who you are, what business you want to build, what is the market landscape in that segment, what does the ecosystem look like, what is the competition, what is the state of mind of the customer, what is the priority in the budget cycle. There are like all kinds of things that we have to work through to make you successful, to help you become successful. And not all of those are in our control. We can teach you methodology, we can teach you, what you need to learn, we can give you guidance, but we cannot guarantee that you're going to, have 100 million exit. That's just not something that's doable. We cannot guarantee you that you're going to be able to raise, your first 5 million in financing. So you're most welcome to join 1 million by 1 million. I will be thrilled to work with you. Starting this Thursday, the 501st roundtable that's coming up, you're most welcome to come by, and I will, work with you in our safe working sessions. We've had technical difficulties today. The technology platforms we use to come to you live and do these shows have had difficulties today. So if those of you who were with us during the first attempt at this broadcast and then got disconnected, we apologize. But this broadcast did go through fully. In the interest of time, I'm going to stop here today, and we'll pick it up on Thursday at the roundtable. Be safe. As I said, if you are struggling with mental health issues, whether it's sadness or depression or discouragement or whatever, you feel low, try meditation, and then try the entrepreneur-specific meditation that I recommended of reading Entrepreneur Journeys on the 1M by 1M blog for an hour or even 15 minutes a day, and get in the mind of an entrepreneur who had traveled this path through, ups and downs, trials and tribulations, and have succeeded. And it would help you get into a positive mindset. It's all this game. We're going to play a marathon game with our entrepreneurial ventures. The entire game is psychological. It's a nerve game. It is a mental health game. So spend a lot of focus on trying to get control of your mind so that you can do what it takes to do the things necessary on a daily basis to be successful. All right, with that, I will sign off. This is Sramana Mitra, founder and CEO of 1 million by 1 million, the first and only global virtual accelerator in the world. I will see you soon. Be well, be safe, wear masks, and those in America who are eligible to vote, do vote. Bye-bye.